OG. Daily grind number 5, and no suspense here. You see right off the bat, we are in Diamond, officially promoted from Ruby 1, and what a run it was. If you watch my previous videos, there is no doubt that it is the most ratty gameplay in the short history of UFL, without a doubt. I did the video on the new patch notes, so hopefully much of this is fixed, and we don't have to play the way we're playing. But with that being said, it's one of those things, if you can't beat it, which you cannot beat it without using these OP methods, right? Then you got to join it. And that's what I did. And as you can see, it was win after win outside of a couple losses. Spoke particularly about that, those 2 losses to Dagger. It's water under the bridge. Extremely laggy games, but it is what it is. So before that and after that, it's just been nothing but success. I'd say I'm at a great point as far as where the meta is, despite the meta not being something that I like and that many people like, right? I'd much rather see football being played. Let's hope after this patch they answer our call. But in the meantime, it is what it is, and we are in Diamond 1 on our way to Premier. One more division to go. There's only one 8-bar division, and that's Diamond 1. So I'm sure it's going to be quite the journey. Obviously, I will document it. But for now, let's go through and see one of the major questions if you're watching the screen as I open up my nonsense rewards, as all rewards in UFL. Hopefully, sounds like they're going to fix that too, although they said that last week with Showdown and it wasn't much of an improvement. Hopefully they do something about both these division rewards and Showdown rewards. But with that being said, you see Holland there in the center of the screen, not the typical Cristiano Ronaldo with Messi and Camavinga on the side, which I guess that means Camavinga technically is higher rated than Mbappe in this. I didn't even think about that until now. But you see there the big 3 up front. Ronaldo is now replaced by Holland. I just heard too many good things about Holland, and you go ahead and be the judge as you see these highlights, what you think, and I'll tell you as we go what I think as far as the difference between Ronaldo and Holland. I can tell you that these first several games have Ronaldo in here, and he was an impact all the way until his exit. Without a doubt, an excellent player. My thought process was I sacrificed the speed that Holland has for the more agile Ronaldo. That also has the ultra effect for headers. And he is great at headers. That was a Joe Ellington one. I kind of tricked him out because they were so focused on Ronaldo and it worked there. But typically speaking, Ronaldo's a beast in the air. And the main thing that I wanted to go over, though, is the fact that I absolutely went off of the EAFC version of Holland as far as thinking Ronaldo, who has juiced up stats in UFL as compared to his gold card in EAFC. So I will just say this for now, that was a mistake to go off that EAFC model of, thinking Holland was too stiff and Ronaldo would be better on the dribble. I'll go ahead and tell you before you start seeing the Holland highlights once he joins the team is that he's every bit as agile, if not even more agile, or at least as good, or if not a better dribbler, right? Stats-wise, Ronaldo in UFL is more agile, but Holland was nothing like I thought he would be on the ball. He's phenomenal and just an absolute monster in the air, despite not having any type of traits for heading. Like Ronaldo has ultra effect heading for a striker. But Holland just a beast with high heading stats, and I guess it's similar to Mbappe with his finesse shots, even though he doesn't have any kind of effect like how Messi has the ultra effect. I would actually almost argue that Mbappe's finesse shots are more OP than, let's say, like a Messi, right? Based on having them both in my team now. So, who knows? I'm sure those ultra effects and different skill sets do add a bonus, but I'm just saying some players don't need them and they're still OP. As you see Mbappe there cooking, good individual effort from him. And honestly, this good run that I've had, you saw at the beginning there. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I got 2 wins right off the bat, going from Ruby 2 to Ruby 1. Had those 2 tough losses with Dagger Sports. It was super laggy. Luckily, at this point, I didn't turn off the game, which sometimes I do if it's real laggy because I don't want to play lag game after lag game. Uh, just because it takes the skill away from it. You just are so heavy that you can't play at all how you normally would. However, by this point, I knew that it was specific to that individual opponent. So I took those 2 L's, got into my little scuffle with Dagger Sports. If you watch my previous video, that is explained there, and then got back to grinding, and it was just win after win, just like before I went into those 2 games. So we've been on a heck of a run, and I knew though, based on everything I was seeing and hearing and playing Holland, that if I wanted to truly have the best attack based on the meta right now, and based on this game, really, and the strongest players, I knew I was going to have to make that change. So I believe here this was my last game with Ronaldo, and he was phenomenal, like I said, all the way up to the end. Great player. I'm not suggesting that you don't get him if you're a Ronaldo fan or you feel like you want to play with him in this game. He's great. He will cook for you, without a doubt. But, as you'll see here shortly, Holland just has that extra juice, particularly in the run of play, right? You see there the purchase of Holland. He gets into the squad and makes an immediate impact. His 2 biggest areas that he's better than Ronaldo is obviously, well, it's 3 if you include his size, but the 2 that I'm referring to is obviously his speed, being at, mid 90s compared to Ronaldo's at the lower 80s, and his in-play headers, right? Ronaldo's phenomenal, specifically on corners, but I noticed that in the run of play, Holland's headers are great. You see his first 2 goals here. These crosses are just OP. I mean, that right there was probably further than 10 yards out, which apparently, according to the notes with UFL, is getting patched. But it doesn't really matter where it is. If there's a header to be won, Holland in the run of play is going to win it. And I noticed that Ronaldo wasn't nearly as effective with those in the run of play headers. And obviously, he just didn't have the speed. And then Holland, despite thinking he'd be stiff similar to EAFC with some of his dribbling, he's every bit as good at dribbling as Ronaldo in UFL, if not even better, honestly, for whatever reason. You see there, he hits the post from point blank, but he had his buddy Mbappe there to pick up the trash and score. That was kind of a funny one. But like I said, he made an immediate impact, immediate improvement for me. That's not to say you wouldn't enjoy Ronaldo better, but for me, I have the best 3 up front right now with Mbappe and Messi on the wings. Holland up front. Obviously running Camavinga and Joe Ellington. I think Joe Ellington's incredible. Would I take Valverde over Joe Ellington if I could? Yes. But considering all the CP you save, Joe Ellington's absolutely a great option. Then in back, Udogi on the left back side, and then on the right side I have Dumfries. Center back, I'm running 3 with Chouameni, who would otherwise be my CDM, my number 6, and then Van de Ven and Chamba, who is the lone player. Chamba, the lone player from my original team. As you see, Holland put another one in. So congrats to Chamba. He survived. He's been upgrading with the team. He's phenomenal at center back. And then in goalie, go get this guy, especially considering he's another cheap beast, Skorupski. He's phenomenal at the long shots, okay? So 2 tips I'm going to give you that I learned along the way. 1, for goalkeepers, the lock is extremely important. That lock and then those hands on that lobbed ball. I think it's called improvement on lob shots or something. And then the lock is obviously improvement, a boost on long shots for goalkeepers. So it's a picture of a lock which Skorupski has Ultra Effect on, and then he has High Effect or something on the I don't know, for him it's just diving, I think. But I'm just saying, if you can find one either with the lock and or particularly if you could get both the lock and those hands on the ball, the picture of those hands catching a ball, which is a good job on catching lobbed crosses, which you see that goal by Holland, a goalkeeper with the hands would have caught that right there. So that is a tip for you on goalkeeper. And those crosses, by the way, those lob crosses that are OP, and why it's so important to get a goalie with that ultra effect, which hopefully would help you out. But those crosses that are OP, it's not just regular square. If you don't know, it's L1 square, especially if you have an aerial beast up top. But even if you don't, those L1 square crosses, until they do the patch, because apparently they're making the defenders stronger and more viable to win those headers against attackers. But that's not until mid-January. So in the meantime, the L1 square crosses are definitely another way you can score goals. So appreciate you following the journey. We will start tomorrow in our Diamond Division quest to get through to the Premier Division, and then we are at the Promised Land, but it's not over yet because then you start getting ranked, right? Then it starts becoming you're playing the best players in the game, period. And you win, you get higher ranked, you lose, you get lower, and you could even get demoted. So we're up there at the very top, and I just appreciate anybody and everybody that watches. So have a good one, and we'll see you next time.